Leon Todd for G66. Welcome to another Tuesday tone tip. On today's video, I want to show you a fun trick I've been using with the pitch block that can give me dual detune and stereo delays in a single channel. So this will work on the FM3, the FM9, and the Axe-Fx 3. To get started, I'm going to be using a whole bunch of gain for the start of this video. We'll hear some clean tones later, but I've got the Boogie Mark IV model dialed up at my usual settings, my free cab IR, and a bit of the gold plate reverb. So very much standard stuff for me. You can grab my free blocks library if you want the settings for all of these. Just check the video description, but this is a really great high gain sound that I use all the time. A great way to add some stereo width to that is to use the dual detune mode in the pitch block. This is a classic trick from early digital effect processors in the 80s. I've got 9 cents of detune up, so a very, very small amount of pitch shifting panned hard left with a very short delay. And then I'm doing the same amount of detune down, panned hard right, and again with a very short delay offset over here. I've got the mix at 30% and the level at 3 dB, so I get unity gain when I kick this in. You can play around with the overall mix as well as the high cut in here. Again, adjust it to taste. I always err on the side of wet sounding effects live, and because I'm demoing these effects, I also want you to really hear them. So again, I am erring on the side of things being a bit more wet, but do not be scared to set the mix anywhere from like 5 to 20% in there and it will still sound awesome. Let's have a listen to what that does and how it gives us some extra stereo width. I'm pretty happy with that, and again, that is available in my blocks library as LT Dual Detune if you want to try it for yourself and save the time dialing it in. Let's go to channel B here because this can showcase another thing the pitch block can do, which are some detuned delays. So this is the dual detune delay type. You can see from the drop-down menu, it's just below the dual detune mode over here. And it does exactly what it says on the tin. You can still have your detune amount in cents. You can pan it around, but you can add delays in here. So I've set the left delay to be a quarter note, or voice 1 delay to be a quarter note, and voice 2 to be a dotted eighth note. I've then added some feedback between each voice and itself. You can add cross feedback in here, and I've got videos demonstrating that, and again, blocks in the library demonstrating that. Again, mix is at 30%, level is at 3 dB. This is a great wide stereo lead delay on here as well. Let's have a listen to that. So that's an awesome lead delay. There is also a quad detune mode in here where we can combine both of these at the same time. So I'm using voice 1 and voice 2 with no detune on them, but I am using those as my quarter note and dotted eighth note delays over here. Again, the feedback mode is set to individual on here. So voice 1 just feeds back to itself, and voice 2 just feeds back to itself, just like with the dual detune delay we set up. You can set that to summed mode if you want a different feel on there. Voice 3 and voice 4, I've just set up for my traditional stereo pitch detune over here. So 9 cents down, 9 cents up. Again, adjust those to taste. I tend to find anywhere from about 5 to 15 cents of detune works fairly well. Once you go into the sort of 20 cents range, it gets a bit wobbly. You may love that effect though. So again, use these as starting points to dial in your own sounds. But what I've got now is a big greasy wide detune. So I get the stereo widening effect and I get the glorious stereo delay on top of it. Let's hear that now. And that brings us to the culmination of all these tips and tricks. We want the stereo detune just for our rhythm sound, but we want to bring in the stereo delays for our lead sound. We can do it a couple of different ways. On the Axe-Fx 3 with gapless switching, we can just switch channels on there and assign different channels to different scenes. At present on the FM9 and the FM3, if we want that to be gapless, there's a different way to do that. We could attach a modifier to the level of the delayed voices here. So again, look at the delay section. Voice 1 and voice 2 are my delays. So I've got an expression pedal connected to my FC controller on here. I'm going to right click level 1 on voice 1 and point that towards my expression pedal. I'm going to do exactly the same thing on voice 2. I'm going to assign level 2 to my expression pedal. Then when I push my expression pedal all the way down, the level on the delays are going to come all the way down and I can swell those back in with my expression pedal. Now you could use a control switch, you could use a scene controller for this, you could use an external controller as well if you wanted to do that, if you've got a little expression knob or something like that. But this is a great way to go from our dual detune, so when the pedal is heel down, then I can bring in the lead delays this way, which is an awesome trick. This works great, by the way, on any delay. You can assign the pedal to the input gain parameter. But with this is such a powerful way to use a single pitch block and get your large stereo widening effect and then have your stereo delays. Again, all in one block. So as you see these level controls go up, that's going to bring the delay in. You can play quite expressively with this, but I'll play some rhythm guitar with this big chunky sound, then I'll swell the delays in, then we'll hear it with a clean sound. This sort of flexibility and creativity that the Axe-Fx gives you within a single block is such a strong point in my opinion. So even though you may have one pitch block on the FM3 and the FM9 and you're thinking, oh, I'd love to have dual detune and I'd love to have some of those pitch delays, you can already do it in there. And if you've got expression pedals, it's super easy to set up. Otherwise, you can use the onboard controllers to, again, seamlessly switch from a glorious dual detune to a lovely detune and delay. In fact, if you didn't want the detune on your delay, just assign your expression pedal to these level controls here and have it set up so it turns them down as the delays go up. Again, you can pretty much do whatever you can imagine on here. It's such a strong point of the Fractal ecosystem. That is all for today's Tuesday Tone Tip. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll put the preset in the video description along with my free IR and my blocks. I will see you all next week. Take it easy.